Chael Sonnen on the line. What's up, bro?
ESKO, my ace. How are you, brother?
I'm good. It's the weekend, and tomorrow night, one of the biggest rematches, if not the biggest rematch of all time in UFC history, takes place. You, Chael Sonnen, get your rematch at Anderson Silva. A lot of hype surrounding this fight, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, even though you dominated Anderson pretty much the whole fight last time, people still consider you to be the underdog. What's up with that?
I don't care either way. I don't really think about that stuff. I go out and fight as hard as I can possibly fight until it's over, and the chips fall where the chips fall.
Trust me, we'll all be tuned in to see where those chips fall. All right, so the last fight, just epic, man. You pretty much manhandled Anderson Silva. He's never been controlled like that in a UFC fight, and you were seconds away from becoming the new champ and being the first man to beat Anderson Silva in the UFC. And then in the final seconds of the final round, we all know what happened. He caught you in the armbar. Now, after the fight, I mean, did this situation kind of drive you crazy? Have you been able to go back and watch the fight itself?
Well, I've never seen the fight. I've heard about it a lot. I've read about it. I've tried to watch it, but I've never stomached through it again. I don't really care about those things. I'm a competitor, man. I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete hard, and I'm the best. You know, he's a good, durable fighter. I'm a world-class athlete.
That's right. If you're just tuning in, world-class athlete, UFC fighter Chael Sonnen on the line right here with me, ESKO. Let's go. Of course, his huge rematch for the middleweight title this Saturday, UFC 148. He's taking on Anderson the Spider Silva. Now, Chael, you haven't been shy about how you feel about Anderson. As a matter of fact, you even came out and said, Anderson Silva, you suck.
You know, he's done his thing, and he had a nice little run, but he was real careful. You know, he ducked and dodged, and he picked his opponents. It's a lot like the boxing days. It's a lot like, what Mike Tyson did when you and I were growing up, and they told us he was the best in the world, when the fact is he wasn't even the best in the country.
Wow.
Right? Evander Holyfield lived 2 states away.
Yeah.
And Evander Holyfield isn't like he's from a different generation. Evander's 2 years older than Mike Tyson. And Evander told us all for years, I can beat this guy. I've beat this guy in practice. I could beat this guy if they gave me a chance. And so Don King just made sure they never gave him a chance.
Well, Chael, you have your chance again this Saturday against Anderson Silva. Of course, like we mentioned before, you pretty much dominated the last fight with your wrestling, your boxing. Do you plan to do the same thing, kind of just smother Anderson again?
I'm going to walk across that cage. I'm going to wait for him to throw one of his little sissy kicks like he always does. I'm going to put my forehead in his chest, run him into the cage, pick him up, put him on his prissy little ass, and run my fist into his face for 25 minutes or until he gives up.
You heard it right there. Chael Sonnen. He said he's going to kick Anderson Silva's ass this Saturday and become the new UFC middleweight champion and the first man to beat Anderson Silva in the UFC. Anything else you want to let the Rockford listeners know?
I want to let them know that they're going to be reminded on Saturday night of what we already know, which is when you're the greatest fighter in the world today, they got a name for you. They don't call you a great fighter. They call you Chael Sonnen.
Damn right. There you go.